True luxury is not defined by the price tag attached to a garment, but by the architectural integrity of the silhouette and the intentionality behind every fold and button. A blazer is arguably the most powerful weapon in a woman's wardrobe, particularly after the age of 50, as it provides structure where the body may have softened and creates a commanding visual frame that demands respect. However, many women fall into the trap of believing that only designer tailoring can achieve this elevated aesthetic, which creates a barrier to elegance that we are here to dismantle completely. By applying principles of visual proportion and strategic hardware manipulation, you can transform a thrifted or high-street blazer into a piece that rivals bespoke Italian tailoring. We have analyzed the styling habits of the world's most sophisticated women and distilled them into 5 genius modifications that prioritize your budget without compromising on that coveted affluent finish. These are not merely fashion tips, they are optical illusions designed to recalibrate how the eye perceives quality and fit, allowing you to project an image of high net worth sophistication using items you likely already own. Let us redefine your closet economy immediately. The most glaring indicator of a mass-produced garment is almost always the hardware, because manufacturers attempting to cut costs will invariably choose generic plastic buttons that lack weight and luster, which instantly cheapens the entire aesthetic regardless of the fabric quality. To execute the hardware equity protocol, you must view your blazer not as a finished product, but as a canvas for modification where the buttons serve as the jewelry of the jacket. We recommend sourcing vintage metal shank buttons or faux horn buttons with a matte finish from local haberdasheries or online marketplaces, which creates an immediate visual discrepancy between the cost of the item and its perceived value. When selecting new buttons for a navy or black blazer, opt for hammered gold or antique brass textures that catch the light subtly, rather than highly polished shiny gold, which can look gaudy and inexpensive. The science behind this lies in the concept of visual weight, where a heavier metal button pulls the fabric slightly, causing it to drape with more authority, and mimicking the construction of high-end heritage brands like Balmain or Chanel. This simple swap, which often costs less than $10, shifts the garment's category from fast fashion to curated boutique wear. Furthermore, pay attention to the spacing and the thread used for attachment, as luxury garments use a thread shank wrapping technique to create space between the button and the fabric, allowing the blazer to close smoothly without pulling or puckering. If you are styling a linen or cotton blazer for summer, consider mother-of-pearl alternatives, which reflect light and add a cooling organic element that plasticky resin simply cannot replicate. By controlling the hardware, you control the narrative of the garment, telling the world that this piece was crafted with intention and customized for your personal style rather than picked off a rack of thousands. A blazer that swallows the hands is the fastest way to look unpolished and overwhelmed by fabric, creating a silhouette that suggests the garment is wearing you rather than the other way around. The sleeve architecture method focuses on the critical zone of the forearm and wrist, which is structurally one of the slimmest parts of the body for women over 50, and highlighting this area creates an immediate effect of leanness and intentional styling. Instead of casually pushing up sleeves, which often slide down and look messy throughout the day, we utilize the hidden rubber band hack to maintain a crisp architectural fold that stays in place. Place a standard hair elastic or a specialized sleeve garter over the blazer sleeve around the mid-forearm area, then pull the sleeve fabric up until the cuff sits just below the elbow, allowing the excess fabric to fold over and conceal the band completely. This technique does more than just shorten the sleeve, it creates a gathered volume at the elbow that adds dynamic texture and balances the visual weight of the hips, creating a more hourglass illusion without constraining the waist. This exposure of the wrist bone allows for the strategic display of bracelets or a classic watch, which serve as anchor points for the eye, signaling luxury through accessorizing. From a cost optimization perspective, this hack saves you the substantial tailoring fees associated with shortening sleeves, particularly on lined jackets with buttons at the cuff, which are notoriously expensive to alter professionally. Furthermore, this technique allows you to wear oversized or menswear-inspired blazers found in thrift stores, which are often higher quality wool but poor fits, and transform them into chic, relaxed pieces that look deliberately oversized rather than accidentally ill-fitting. The goal is to create a look that says effortless capability where the sleeves are ready for action, but the style remains impeccably composed. One of the most profound secrets to making affordable clothing look expensive is the elimination of visual breaks in the silhouette, which we achieve through the monochromatic column strategy. When you wear a blazer over a top and trousers of contrasting colors, you cut the body into segments which can emphasize structural flaws in the blazer or proportion issues in the body. But by keeping the inner layers, the top and the bottom, in the exact same color family, you create a long, unbroken vertical line that forces the eye to travel up and down seamlessly. This column of color acts as a sophisticated backdrop, allowing the blazer to serve as the framing device rather than fighting for attention with other elements of the outfit. For women over 50, this is particularly effective as it elongates the figure and camouflages the midsection without requiring shapewear, relying instead on optical continuity. To optimize cost, utilize basics you already own, such as black leggings with a black turtleneck or cream trousers with a cream blouse, and layer your textured blazer over this foundation. The key here is tonal matching. If your blacks are faded, they will not create a true column, so ensure your base layers are maintained with fabric dyes to keep the saturation deep and uniform. This technique allows a $30 blazer to look like part of a curated suit because the cohesiveness of the inner column elevates the perceived quality of the outer layer. You can also experiment with textural monochrome, where the inner column matches the blazer color, exactly creating a suit effect without buying a matching set. However, ensure the textures are distinct, for example a wool blazer over a silk blouse and crepe trousers, to prevent the look from appearing flat or uniform-like. This strategy leverages the psychology of color blocking to communicate order, discipline, and luxury. Many affordable blazers suffer from a lack of internal tailoring, resulting in a boxy or rectangular shape that hides the feminine form, and can appear somewhat utility-focused rather than fashion-forward. The belted hourglass manipulation is the definitive corrective measure for this issue, allowing you to impose shape onto a garment that lacks it structurally. However, simply tying a belt around a blazer often results in awkward bunching at the back, which destroys the illusion of elegance, so the technique requires specific execution. We advocate for the use of a medium-width leather belt or a structured corset belt, rather than thin, flimsy straps which lack the strength to hold heavy blazer fabric. Place the belt at your natural waistline, which is usually higher than you think, typically 2 inches above the navel, and fasten it securely. But before you consider the look complete, you must perform the blousing maneuver. Reach underneath the belt and gently pull the fabric upward and outward, specifically at the back and sides, to distribute the gather evenly, ensuring the fabric doesn't bunch solely in the rear. This creates a peplum-like effect that mimics the silhouette of the iconic Dior bar jacket, a piece of history that defines feminine tailoring. To maintain the luxury aesthetic, ensure the tail of the belt is tucked neatly or hangs vertically downwards, never flapping loosely horizontally. For a cost-effective twist, utilize a silk scarf folded into a sash instead of a leather belt to soften the look and add a print element to a solid blazer, creating a bespoke fusion of textures. This method allows you to buy blazers in larger sizes from the clearance rack or men's section, often where the best fabrics like wool and tweed are hidden at lower prices, and tailor them to your body instantly without a single stitch of sewing. The final frontier in styling affordable blazers is managing the visual properties of synthetic fabrics, which can often appear flat or overly shiny under bright light, revealing their lower price point. To counteract this, we employ the textural collision rule, which dictates that a budget-friendly blazer must never be paired with fabrics of identical low-grade texture. Instead, you must surround the blazer with materials that possess inherent richness, such as silk, satin, cashmere, or high-quality denim. By placing a matte polyester blazer next to a lustrous silk scarf, or a crisp white poplin shirt, you create a diversionary contrast, where the eye perceives the overall outfit as high quality by association. If your blazer has a dull finish, introduce glossy accessories like patent leather pumps, or a structured crocodile embossed bag to inject vitality into the look. Conversely, if the blazer is suspiciously shiny due to high polyester content, ground it with light, absorbing fabrics like a matte wool turtleneck or dark denim jeans, which absorb the excess sheen and balance the visual equation. This implies a strategy of high-low dressing where one expensive or expensive-looking accessory elevates the cheaper main garment. You do not need to buy real silk or cashmere. Modern high-quality synthetic alternatives or thrifted natural fibers work perfectly, as long as the visual texture reads as premium. Avoid at all costs pairing a cheap blazer with cheap matching trousers unless they are truly identical in dye lot. Otherwise, the slight mismatch in texture and color fade will scream bargain bin. Instead, break the suit up and let the blazer stand alone, supported by superior textures that lend it their credibility, making the total ensemble look 10x more expensive through the power of association. Elevating your style over 50 is not about maximizing your credit card limit, but optimizing your creativity and understanding the physics of fashion. By swapping hardware, mastering the architectural role of a sleeve, building monochromatic columns, cinching with precision, and orchestrating textural contrasts, you take full command of your image. These 5 hacks prove that elegance is an intellectual pursuit, a series of deliberate choices that communicate self-worth and sophistication, regardless of the brand label stitched inside your collar. Implement these protocols today and witness how the world responds to your newfound authority. Our team is constantly researching more methods to refine your aesthetic intelligence, so ensure you are connected to our channel for the next briefing on ageless style mastery. Walk tall and let your blazer do the talking.